NovaOnline. You know him, you hate him, and how much worse can it get? Well, let me just say off the jump here, it gets so much worse than you can even imagine. We have a lot to cover today, so I'll be kind of trying to split this up into like sections and try to give my, try to give it my all, and give everyone here the most accurate information possible. Because I don't want to confuse anyone, or I don't want to be wrong. But if I am, feel free to type it in the comments, or feel free to say it. Well, just give your opinion. That's all I really want. Is just give it your opinion. Now let's start with NovaOnline's Reddit account. Now, someone discovered this account when they saw this picture on an r/car repair subreddit, where you can clearly see the chome in the picture. And when people saw this, folks had dug a little deeper and saw he was an r/vent Reddit. Let me see, subreddit as well. And as you can see here, now these posts have since been taken down because of course they did. But brass tacks here, he was bitching about how people hate him for being an online pedophile, and this is where it gets really weird. As you can see, he was active in a diaper. I'm not even gonna read that. He's in this subreddit, and a chastity subreddit shown here. Now, it's probably the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and I just am absolutely dumbfounded by the fact that to this day he believes that he's not an online degenerate pedophile. But as you can see here, he's in this diaper server. He fucking posted shit, and I mean, you just gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, like, one upvote for 2 hours, all the way to a fucking week, and willing to do whatever people comment. Jesus Christ, man. This is just deplorable, and just made me wonder on how people like this actually exist. He also posts this picture right here in an age regression subreddit, and people are, of course, I want to say questioning if he has an actual age regression, or if he has actual age regression. Is that the word? Grammatically, it makes no sense to me. Or if it's just a kink, which is obviously, a kink for him. Pearson, who is a very important figure for today's video, was shown talking about the very subject shown here.
Here's the thing, age regression when you've actually been abused, it's completely different than the fetish that Nova has. I've actually talked to a therapist about age regression because I wanted to understand it. It is a completely different thing than what Nova does. Like, actually talking to a specialist on this stuff, it's very eye-opening when you learn what it's really about and what it's really like for people to have it. It's actually really sad. Age regression, well, the problem is there's the fetish, and there's people that have actual age regression. People who actually have it don't have control over it. It's like a panic mechanism where your brain sets you to what it considers the safest time in your life. It is on par with fight or flight response in actual cases of it. Yes, basically. And the person that has it, they don't know that they're going into it. Like, they can't control it. That's the sad part. It's basically similar to those with PTSD when they have an attack, like an episode. You can't control it. It can come out of nowhere. And I have severe PTSD, so I can tell you it's not a fun time. It really sucks. But actual age regression is something similar. It's basically the fight or flight response. What Nova has is a fetish.
Now she has this kind of, pegged, like, she hit it right on the mark with this one. I did a little bit of research of my own on age regression, and is indeed on par with fight or flight response. And the affected person isn't even entirely aware when this regression happens. And I read that it can stem back from childhood trauma, or something really traumatic going on at some point in your life, and your brain goes back to like a state where you may be happier, which more often than not is your childhood. This is the chome, but the chome, so this is just a kink to him. And this has been on screen for a bit now, but as you can see, they are just like confused as to why he owns a pair of mittens / cuffs. It looked like cuffs to me. I don't know, I guess. And well, in the chastity subreddit, he posts saying this shit, man, and what the hell? So what the hell? Now we are moving on to Raven or Ruby. I think one of those is like her real name, but I honestly don't even. I can't tell. I really don't know. I think it's Ruby, but ugh. as recently discovered by the general locale public. Now, you might be wondering, who is this person? Well, to my knowledge, she was Nova's girlfriend slash moderator for a little bit, maybe slash buddy troll. Bloodsmith had mentioned that, you know, she is like a buddy troll gathering screenshots, but just the girlfriend moderator thing is like a, you know, it's like on another level, man. But there was an image shown here. This confirmed that he was indeed in a poly relationship, which, you know, I don't care. You know, I don't care what you do with who, as long as like it's legal and consensual. But in Nova's case, just what the fuck, man? Why? And of course, we're back with this weird shit where he talks about using a toy on himself, you know, shown here, and it's just gross, man. A lot of this shit is just gonna be disgusting, but please bear with me now. Fast forwarding a couple of weeks, Raven, being a chud moderator GF, Nova on a recent stream provokes people on the Kiwi farms to phone book her, and well, they did. I'm not gonna show any real sensitive information, as I don't believe it is entirely appropriate. Just like showing it bare, you know, it is kind of like goes against my whole thing. Is like I like to show stuff in the rawest format possible, but you know, it is just kind of like on a line of appropriate and inappropriate, so I'm not going to kind of show it. But do let me know what your opinion is. So if you think it's okay, if it's not okay, which I think in certain cases it is okay, but most cases it's not. But I don't think this is one of those cases. But let's continue on here. As Nova streams himself making paracord bracelets, she gets phone booked, and on the stream she's very shaken up and kind of flustered, and she is just shocked that her cloak is now off and she's revealed to the world, and quickly breaks up with him soon after. Now a person on the farms texted her, and I am going to read the following messages. I'm going to read the messages in which they appear, which is, you know, right, left. It starts with the guy texting her on the farms. I guess it's like a message request kind of thing. It opens up with saying, "Why are you defending him? Like, who are you? LOL." She accepts the message request. It tells her you can start chatting, and she says, "Yo, mama," and he replies, "Oh," and she replies, "Yeah, so you have a problem? I was curious why you defend him so much in the comments. Who's him? Who's her?" And then her real name. And she says, "Are you one of my brothers? Do you know which brother I am? I got you on my contacts popping up. It is Michael. Okay, if this is Michael, what is our mom's name? Phone booked. We know everything about you. I don't care. Nova is innocent. That's fine, but everyone knows who Raven is. Her real name, with your friend, childhood friend, Oscar. Bitch, I don't give a fuck. Nova is innocent and you are all evil." And then that kind of ends the messages there. And then after this, he's kind of just in a state of, like, I don't know. You should have seen the look on his face, like, on the live stream. Let me see. Sorry guys, I'm trying a new scripted format. It's pretty fucking annoying to me, at least. I like doing everything that's off the fly, off the cuff, but you know, it's like 5 in the morning. Well, it's gonna be 6 in the morning, and I just want to kind of get my thoughts and just like in order, because I'm kind of just a fucking idiot. And you know, she breaks up with him, and I read the messages. Now I'm going to kind of talk about something fairly serious now, and this is a really heavy topic, and if you are uncomfortable with it, feel free to, you know, skip this part of the video entirely, or you can end it now. Regardless of which, we are going to be covering some pretty heavy stuff, so let's kind of buckle in here, and please take everything I say with a little bit of grain of salt, because you know, these are my kind of takes on everything that's happened. So, you know, if you have your own opinions, please share them in the comments, man. It's like, the reason I make these videos is for people to be able to express themselves freely. So if you don't agree with me, that's fine. If you agree with me, that's fine too. Alright, I'm not going to hate you for it. So, you know, just feel free to share your opinion. Now, Kiwi Speth, you know, the guy who was a mod slash co-owner of Nova's previous Discord server. I also covered him before on the channel before. He made several posts on his Twitter, and this absolute creep talks about purity sin in a very disgusting and weird manner, saying he will do things to her and assault her, and post pictures of her virtual character in a not so great light. Now the posts were taken down, I assume, by him, and I cannot find any to really put up on the screen. But trust me on this, and do check on Solidus Nova over on Twitter for any information you may be looking for regarding this subject. But Kiwi Speth is in cahoots with the UTTP, a online terrorist group. At least that's how I see it. They blackmail/groom children and post CSAM material along with gore and a ton of other illegal content, and goes after people who disagree or hate them. Now, you might be asking, why mention him? Well, I truly believe, and take this a bit heavy with a grain of salt, but I think him and Nova had major roles in the swatting of our beloved VTuber Purity Sin. Now, if you don't know who she is a VTuber who plays, cool games, talks about stuff, and sometimes covers Gabe. She's also voiced the child NovaOnline was talking to in the very well-known Nova Files. So if you're very much looking for a very entertaining gamer/commentator/community, it is always a welcome place where she's concerned. Check her out in the description below. But she was swatted fairly recently during a Pragmata live stream, and for context, she is a woman with disabilities and has PTSD, and her mother is also deaf. And when she answered the door, they had police around her area, and the call had reported her taking the life of her own mother, which is just jaw-dropping when I say it out loud. Now you can only imagine the fear and how shaken up they were in this whole situation. Purity said she had assigned to her mother what was happening, and thank Christ that one of her neighbors is a local police officer and was able to help defuse the situation before it took any sort of turn. Now before this, she also said that people were hopping her fence and people being dickheads outside of her own home, and our pets may have been fed bad food. That part I don't really know much about. I missed one of her live streams and I didn't get to see that part. I did see something about it over on Chin's channel. But it may have been someone food poisoning her dogs or pets. I think she owns dogs. Pets. I'm just gonna say pets because it's like I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying at this point. But please do check out the Chin universe if you do want an actual watchable format of this. Because I do it like crap. But swatting is a crime. It is a crime. It's a very serious crime. When you do this shit, you put people's lives in danger, and many people's lives have been taken before in the result of swatting calls in the past. People who are innocent, and not only that, but you pull resources away from people who really need it the most. And me personally, I don't think Nova himself called them. I do believe he either got KiwiSpeth or another dunce to do it for him. Reminding you that, KiwiSpeth manipulates children much like Defender, another UTTP member who was notorious for grooming children and getting them to hurt themselves on call with him, and it's for his own amusement, I guess. And Nova is also someone who manipulates children on a pretty common basis. So this to me kind of just stood out, and it just kind of gives me my own steady case of what I think's going on. But after the swatting, Nova had tried contacting Purity Sin over on Twitch Whispers and said the following. Now, he may know who may have done it, which just tells me he definitely knows who did it, and he definitely had some sort of role in this. And I think that kind of ends it for that section. But let's move on to something else that's equally as surprising. Nova's family was phone booked, and by family I mean his entire family, his entire tree. And his dad is also a chome, shown here. He was convicted of sex crimes with a minor, and I guess his uncle's uncle or something like that. And, not our beloved Uncle Drew. He was also a chome. So I guess the apple doesn't even fall far from the tree. Just fucking hit a fucking branch or something like that. But after this, I was on the farms checking it out for the first time, because I was always curious on the information on there. And there's also a bunch of other locales covered on the farms too. I do remember it kind of being heavily into Christian. but I'm not so sure anymore. Um, but I did see on there, and it was reported that he has an account on a very well-known furry NSFW website, and he has favorited, like in his favorites, like he saved it, a very lewd picture, an illegal one at that, very very just disgusting. Um, it's of an underage cartoon character, and this account of his dates back 3 years ago, but it was shown that it was active 10 or so months ago, and he also has several comments, and of course, you know, I can tell that this account is 100% like it's literally just Gabe. It's you know, it's just him. Like I can tell just by the way he was commenting on these posts that are shown on the Kiwi farms. Like it's just like his humor, you know. I don't know if you know what I mean by that, but he has a very warped sense of humor, you know. And up after this, well, I think it may have been also to do with, you know, the doxing, the phone boxing, the phone doxing, phone booking of his family. You know, he's been posting all over Twitter, you know, hashtag fuck Kiwi Farms, even though he was using Kiwi Farms to fucking dox, you know, try and dox fucking Kiwi tapes and his entire family. Oh my god, you know, rules for thee and not for me. Like, what a warped sense of reality this fucking guy has. I just don't know. I don't know why he does the things he does, you know. I don't know why he thinks that he's like not a victim, which he's not. He's literally not a fucking he's not a victim. He's literally a fucking pedophile. He's an online pedophile, and there's nothing anyone like there's nothing he could say, right, that would make anyone believe otherwise, because that's his whole thing, is that, you know, he gets quiet when people call him out on this shit, and you know, he has nothing to say. He said like these nuts, and it's all fucking lies, it's all fucking trolls. They're all after me. This and that. This and that. It makes no sense really. So just just Chom, if you are indeed watching this video, you know, you are gonna go to jail, man. You are going to go to jail sometime in the near future. Um, you kind of just, you know, deserve it. You really do just deserve it, and I hope when you're in jail, certain aspects of jail are gonna be pretty heavy on you, and you know, I just hope they throw away the key when they put you in jail. So you know, I think that about covers it for today's video. You know, he's just another Corbin, man. He's just like Jupiter. And I know this may have been a hard watch for people out there, and I really don't blame you, but thanks for staying if you did, and I love every single one of you. You folks give me a sense of pride that makes me feel like I'm doing something right, you know? But goodbye, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Love you, goodbye.